Okay, so in this video we're going to look at creating a part, and as you can see in this one I have a few different extrusions, and you can tackle those a few different ways. So we're going to be creating this one in Inventor, so I'm just going to switch on over to Inventor and get started. And thank you for the people who are liking and subscribing and also sharing these videos. It really helps me out a lot, so thank you, and it's much appreciated. Okay, so here in Inventor, we're going to create this with a millimeter template. So I'll select here the new template, and then it should come up with the last one that I used, and the last part that I created was a metric one. But if you wanted to change it over to inches, you can select this English one, and it will bring up the inch template. So I'm just going to double click on the millimeter IPT. And depending on how fast or slow your computer is, this is kind of one of those things where it's going to take to load it up. And once the ribbon change, you can see the browser here on the side. You should be ready to go. So this one, I'm going to start by creating a sketch here. And I'm going to create this one on the YZ plane. So I'm going to select the YZ plane. It should rotate and orient the correct way that I want it. Then I'm going to create an L shape. So I'm just going to make sure that these lines stay straight. And you can see that I'm getting the horizontal and perpendicular and vertical constraints for each and every one of these. So that's what I want to happen. And I'm just going to line this one up and move it over. So I got a perpendicular. It's in line with that one. Then I'll click here. Alright, so I'll go ahead and hit the escape button. Let's go ahead and put some rough dimensions on this. As long as the dimension that I have is this line here, which is measured at 145. So I'll go to dimension, click on this line, place it, and type in 145. Remember that the first dimension that you create is going to be the scale dimension. So it should scale your part either up or down. Let's go ahead and put the other ones on. This is going to be 90. I have 36 going across the top. I have this dimension here. That's going to be 25. And then I should need two more dimensions. And remember, they're in reference to the center point here. So I'm just going to select this line. And then the center point here. When I click it to put in the dimension, I will select the 145 dimension. And then I'm going to divide it by 2. Likewise with the 90 one. So I'll select this line, this center point, place the dimension, select the 90 dimension there, and divide it by 2. Alright, so everything should be fully constrained. So let's go ahead and finish sketch. I'm going to zoom back just a little bit here. I'm going to extrude this shape. And you should see it highlight. I'm going to set it in both directions. So I'm selecting this icon here. And it's going to be 72 as the overall distance of it. Go ahead and select OK. Next, I'm going to create the front face here. So I'm going to go ahead and select this face, and I'm going to pick the icon that has the green plus on it. So once I do that, you should see it rotate around. Now I'm going to create a couple of things here. I'm going to create a rectangle, and I could use a 2-point or a center one, but I'm just going to use the regular one in this case. So I'm just going to create, and actually it was set to 2-point center one. Just going to use a regular 2-point one this time. Now I'll go ahead and place it here. Start putting some dimensions on this. Is that I know that the bottom dimension is going to be from this ledge here at the bottom to that ledge. This dimension is 30. I'll do the top here. So from this dimension down to here, that dimension will be 24. Then I have a circle that I have to put somewhere in here as well. So I'm going to go with a circle. I'll place it somewhere kind of off the center. I don't know if it falls right in the center of here yet. So I'm going to place this circle here. I'll go to dimension. And I'll left click on the circle. And as I'm getting ready to place my dimension, do a right click. Go to dimension type. Choose radius. And then tell it that the radius. So I'm going to left click one more time. And this radius is 30. Alright, a few things that I know about this circle is that I know the height of it. So from the dimension, I'm going to select this yellow line at the bottom again. The center of my circle, and I'll place it here, and that number is 48. Alright, now the center of this one is located from this edge going over, and it tells me that it's 36. It's also half of the 72, so we can either put a dimension there, or we can lock it in line with the center point here. I'll just go ahead and put a dimension since it has one on the drawing. So I'm going to select this edge, this center point. I'll come down and place the dimension, and we should get 36 here. Alright, a few more dimensions that I do need is that I need this line here to be on top of that line. So I'll use a Colinear constraint. I'll select this line here to here. Likewise, on the other side, I'll select this line to here. Now, you can go ahead and trim this, and sometimes it will break the constraints with this. So I'm going to go ahead and trim it and see if I can try to keep it together. So if I trim this part and this part, and then if I trim this line here at the bottom, and then this one at the top, you can see now all of a sudden I need 6 dimensions, right? And you can see all the dimensions that I'm going to need. I'm going to need this dimension again. I'm going to also need to keep that one in line with it and do some other things. So you can go about this and kind of come back and do all that stuff. What I can also recommend that you do is put everything back the way it was before we even did this. And in the extrusion constraint, just go ahead and pick those profiles. And I shouldn't say a constraint. In the extrusion command, we're going to go ahead and pick those profiles. I'm going to make it a little bit easier for Inventor. So I'm just going to highlight these two lines here. Right click, construction. And I'll do the same on this one. Right click here, and then construction. Alright, so I can leave it this way, and it's totally fine leaving it this way. Go ahead and finish sketch. I'll go to extrude, and right now it's going to ask me what profiles do I want to select. Well, I want to select that line there, this one here, and this one at the bottom. I also want to select this one at the top, and I'm going to rotate underneath a little bit to select the one at the bottom. You can see that is the shape that I'm trying to create. I'm going to send it the other direction. You can see that right now it is subtracting, and then I need to give it the depth of this. And if we go back kind of and refer to the drawing, we can see that the depth of this is going to be 12. So I'm going to change this number here to 12. And now I have that created. I'll hit OK. I'm just going to click the little home icon here to get me back to the right orientation. Next, I'm going to go ahead and create this shape here on the back. So I'm going to highlight this face here. Once again, select the icon with the green plus. It's going to rotate around. I'm going to create a 2-point circle. And in this case, instead of using the 2-point, let's go ahead and use the center one with the 2-point. I think that one is going to be a little bit more accurate here. So I'm going to use a 2-point center rectangle. I'm going to click here and just kind of create that rectangle on this face. Alright, so the next thing I need to do is I need to keep this in line with this one, right? So I want this center point to be in line with this midpoint. I'm going to select the vertical icon, and the first thing I always try to do is make sure I'm getting a vertical kind of predicting line there. And if I have that, I'm going to select this center point, and then on this line here, it seems not to be showing me, and I might have to project it in first. Or I can go find the center point by expanding the origin and selecting center point. And you can see that it does light up here. So I can either select it here, or I can select it in the browser. Either one will work, and you can see now it's in line with it. Okay? I'm going to give it a dimension so this line will project in now. So if I go to dimension, this back line to this front face here, and make it 50, you can see that yellow line will appear. And now I could have been able, or would have been able to use that vertical constraint on that midpoint. But either way works fine. I'm going to make this line collinear to this line by selecting a Colinear constraint, selecting this line, and then this yellow line. Create a circle. Let's click on this midpoint. And then I'm just going to go to that endpoint that's located here. So just 2 left clicks on that. I'm going to select this line here, make it construction. Kind of zoom in and see what else I need to put on this, and it seems like everything should be free and clear. Oh, yeah, I got one more to create on here. And that dimension happens to be the width of this, so I've never defined the width of this. So I can either tell it the radius of this circle, or I can tell it the distance between these 2 lines. I'll just put the radius on. Really doesn't matter which one you use, so I'll go to dimension. Once again, select my circle. When I'm about to create this dimension, or left click and place it, go right click, choose dimension type, radius, and then left click and place your dimension, and then give it the radius, which in this case is going to be 12. And that should be enough to kind of satisfy this. Now I can trim this and see if this will stay. I think in this case it should. So I'm just going to trim off these portions, and it should stay fully constrained. Alright, I can make this yellow line a construction line, but in this case we only have one closed profile, so I don't need to do that. Let's go ahead and go to Finish Sketch. Let's choose Extrude. Inventor should pick it. Now I want to send that through everything, right? So I'm going to send it through all. And then I'm going to reverse the direction, which is that way. And it should cut through your part at the bottom there. Go to OK. You see now I have a cutout here. I got one more cutout to do, and you can do this in multiple ways. Either you can create a sketch here and extrude it back, or you can work from the bottom and extrude it up. Either way, does not matter. I think I'll put one here on this bottom face, so I'm going to select this face, select the green plus icon. Once I have it here, I'm going to use a regular 2-point rectangle. I'm going to click on this endpoint, so I'll click here, and then place it somewhere along here. Let's go ahead and put the dimensions on it, and we see that the distance here should be 50. The distance here is going to be 6. And that's all I need. You can see everything is fully constrained. Go ahead and finish sketch. Choose the extrude option. It's going to send it one direction, right? I want to make that distance 72. And then I'm going to reverse the direction to make it cut from here, and you're going to get the red showing you that it is subtracting. Go ahead and choose OK. And then we have one more thing to do, is just place the hole that's on the inside of here. So I'll use the hole command. I'm going to define that hole. It's going to go through everything. So everything is fine. I'm going to select this face. As my concentric reference, I'm going to select this curved edge, and that should place it in the center of this. And then I'm going to go ahead and give it a number here, which is going to be 24. Once I type in 24 here, hit OK. And it's going through all, by the way. And that's all that we need to create this part, right? So I hope you enjoyed this video. This has a little bit more stuff involved in doing it, but it's got a lot of extrusions in it, and one is the hole command. And the hole command is nothing more than a simple extrusion itself. So if you enjoyed this video, stay tuned, keep liking, keep subscribing, and keep sharing these videos, and I'll be back with another video. Thank you for watching.